Hello, guys. Oh, hold on. Hello, how are you? Let me know. Let me just put the guitar out of the way. I think otherwise I'm sure to knock it over at some point. Let me know who's online and then we're gonna be starting any second. I was like running around trying to prepare for this because, oh, what was that sound? Oh, that happened again. Yeah, because I had a gig today, and then after the gig, I was thinking about going to the beach if I could make it or not, because to get back from the gig and then sort of change into my beach clothes and take the stuff that I need to the beach, like sunscreen and all that stuff, would take some time. And actually, when I got back home, I felt so tired. I was thinking, oh, I'm not gonna go. But then I sort of even made myself go, because I said to myself, well, this is one of the last few days in Sydney when the weather is still nice. And yeah, and I made myself go, saying at least even if I make it to the beach and spend at least an hour, that's going to be worth it. And I'm so glad I did go there, because after I'd taken a swim in the ocean, I already felt so much better. So yeah, and I'm thinking about hitting the beach tomorrow as well, because tomorrow is promising to be the similar weather, like 25 degrees, not that hot, but warm enough for you to actually enjoy it. Виталий, привет. Доброе утро, наверное, да? Okay, sorry guys. I've been having this strange sore throat for some time. It seems to be going away now, so that's a good part. Ooh. Hold on, let me just fix this thing here. Okay, let's do this one. I'm just moving the microphones out of the way. Let me put this one. Where shall I put it? I'll put it here. Все, понял. Ясно. Это я с собой взял гимбал, но что-то он у меня как-то не работает. Не могу понять, почему. Вернее, он проработал там буквально, может быть, сколько минут? 20, наверное. И потом начал глючить, зависать, почему-то выключаться снова. Хотя такое ощущение, как будто батарейка садится, но сегодня после этого я посмотрел, может быть, он как-то перегревается или еще что-то. В общем, там батарея вроде как заряжена. Но я вот сейчас его поставил заряжаться, потому что завтра, может быть, еще, если успею, пойду записывать видео для онлайн-концерта преподавателя по саксофону. И если получится, попробую воспользоваться этим гимбалом. Хотя еще, может быть, не знаю, может быть, надо что-нибудь попроще, просто какую-нибудь подставку для телефона, которая цепляется на трипод. Потому что гимбал, наверное, слишком высокотехнологичный, потому что он постоянно зависает. Если надо что-нибудь более простое, которое что-то, что не будет глючить, так сказать. Right, let's do this song. Sorry guys. Oh, hold on, I think I need to update my settings on Twitch, because it may still be showing as I hope it doesn't. I think I updated my stream settings to travel and whatnot when I was streaming outdoors, and I just need to, oh yeah, it is. That's fine. That would have been funny. Okay, let's do this. I'm just gonna change it to music, and hold on, what else do we need to change it to? Because I don't want to mislead people. Tomorrow we might do another one outdoors.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Right, let's see what else. Let me know how your week is going. What's new happening? Ooh, sugar. What is that? What is that sound? So yesterday, I think part of the reason why I had a headache this morning, and yeah, and I had like a headache pretty much throughout the day, even though I took some paracetamol twice, like one in couple of pills in the morning and then a couple of pills in the afternoon, was because I haven't binge watched, or I haven't watched any movies or shows on Netflix or anywhere else in the past, I would say, few months. And then yesterday, for whatever reason, I decided to check it out, and one show caught my eye. It's a show called The Serpent. It's like an 8-episode show by or produced for BBC. So I read about it later on after watching the show, and apparently this show aired in the UK in January, and I actually sent it on to my friend in London, and she texted me back saying, "Oh yeah, like she'd heard about the show and she actually watched it in January." And yeah, and the show is called The Serpent, and it's based on like true story and real facts, although some of it has been changed and some of it was sort of like the dialogues were imagined. And it's about a guy who was basically drugging and robbing backpackers, the first wave of backpackers that were like hippie backpackers that were passing through Southeast Asia and traveling in countries like Thailand and India in the 70s. And I started watching the show just for chilling out, and I thought I'll watch one episode and see whether it's good or not. And I ended up binge watching that show, so I ended up going to bed quite late, and then I had to wake up pretty early in the morning to just to get ready for the gig, and just to be in a good headspace for the gig as well. So I think that's like having a headache was my own fault, so to speak. Let's sing this song next. So yeah, so if you're looking for something to recommend, but I would recommend this show, but if you don't want to binge watch, I would not recommend it. And what I also liked about the show is that there was sort of, it's like shot as if it was in the 70s, and some of the cinematics is similar to the kind of old video recordings from those years. And I really also liked how it's very subtle, but there's like one of the main characters, a girl there, a woman from Quebec in Canada, and she's sort of like, most when they had money, she dressed up very nice, and it was just like very subtle details, like when they had a dinner somewhere in India, or no, it was in Pakistan, and I just noticed that the color coordination between her clothes and the kind of even the wall color and the furniture was so well thought through, and clearly the whoever produced the show put a lot of thought into making sure that it looked nice as well, not from this kind of color perspective. So it was very aesthetically pleasing to watch as well. So I would recommend you that as well if you're into that sort of stuff.
Sous les ciels de Paris s'envolait une chanson. Elle est née d'aujourd'hui dans le cœur d'un garçon. Sous les ciels de Paris marchent des amoureux. Leur bonheur s'est construit sur un être fait heureux. Sous les ponts de Bercy, un philosophe assis, deux musiciens, quelques badauds, puis les gens par milliers. Sous les ciels de Paris, jusqu'à soir on chantait l'hymne d'un peuple épris de sa vieille cité. Près de Notre-Dame, parfois couvendra, oui, mais à Paname, tout peut s'arranger. Quelques rayons du ciel d'été, l'accordéon d'un marinier, l'espoir fleurit au ciel de Paris. Sous le ciel de Paris coule un fleuve joyeuse. Il endort dans la nuit les clochards et les gueux. Sous le ciel de Paris, les oiseaux du bon Dieu. Rien du monde entier peut bavarder entre eux. Et le ciel de Paris a son secret pour lui. Depuis 20 siècles, il est le prix de notre île sans lui. Quand elle lui sourit, il met son habit bleu. Quand il pleut sur Paris, c'est qu'il est malheureux. On est trop jaloux de ces millions d'amants. Il fait gronder sur nous son tonnerre éclatant. Mais le ciel de Paris n'est pas longtemps cruel. Pour se faire pardonner, il offre un arc-en-ciel.
Ирина, здравствуйте. Да, это очень замечательная песня, которую, мне кажется, я должен петь чаще. У меня здесь опять куча шнуров внизу, поэтому какие-то постоянно возникают помехи. Как ваша неделя? Кстати, я не знаю, вы присутствовали или нет, но я перенес пятничные стримы теперь на среду, освободил пятницу для баскинга потенциально. Вот. Ну, постараюсь, если не всегда, но по возможности постараюсь выходить в прямой эфир с улицы также, хотя там есть такие логистические некоторые моменты, которые надо мне решить. Ну, помимо того, что надо с собой еще дополнительно кучу оборудования брать, ну не кучу, но приличную, еще как минимум пару килограмм. Вот. Хотя на этой неделе я возобновил, ну, не ежедневные, но занятия йогой периодически, так, чтобы спину хотя бы чуть-чуть разминать и мышцы укреплять, потому что иначе, конечно, это так сказывается на спине, особенно когда сейчас я начал с собой еще саксофон носить, и это все, ну, саксофон, он за плечами, это 5 килограмм, поэтому так, нелегко приходится иногда. Ничего страшного. Я сам забыл в прошлую среду, я совсем забыл про стрим и уже опомнился, когда часом позже такой думаю, что-то не так. Вспомнил про стрим, но уже было поздно. So, I don't know if any of you guys haven't been here or haven't heard this before. The streams, I used to stream on Fridays and Sundays, and I changed my Friday streams. I rescheduled them to Wednesdays because I wanted to free up the Fridays for busking. And then sometimes, if logistically, whenever it's possible, and you know, if I don't feel too lazy to carry extra couple of kilograms around of gear, I might be doing streams from the outside. But yeah, I think the last one was sort of like a, as you say in Russian, it was what's the word? The first pancake didn't quite come out right. There's a saying in Russian. I'm not sure what an equivalent saying would be in English. Сами занимаетесь. Вы про что сами занимаетесь? Про гитару. Гитару, да, я изучаю самостоятельно. Ну, плюс купил несколько онлайн-курсов, и есть еще приложение, которым я пользуюсь, называется 𝐒𝐬𝐿. В принципе, комбинирую его, потом есть еще веб-сайт, на котором есть как-то таблатура аккордов, наверное, да, такое. Йогой, да, йогой тоже сам занимаюсь. До этого ходил до того, как пандемия наступила, ходил в студию в центре города у нас, прям в шопинг-моле. Была хорошая студия, мне там несколько преподавателей, не все, но большинство преподавателей нравилось. Вот. Но потом все это закрыли, и, к сожалению, студию тоже закрыли. Она сейчас уже, по-моему, через несколько месяцев, через приличное количество месяцев открылась, но там они все поменяли, и, по-моему, выкупила другая компания. В общем, они поставили кучу аппаратов для бега, там буквально рядов, наверное, сейчас скажу, 6, если не больше, и они вот так заставлены беговыми аппаратами. Я когда пришел туда, поразился. В общем, полностью переоборудовали, и по-моему, йоги-студии там даже она перестала существовать. Вот. Ну и я как-то за это время тоже привык. У меня было приложение, оно было давно, я им так периодически пользовался, но предпочитал ходить в спортзал, который называется Down Dog Yoga. Очень хорошее приложение, рекомендую, если вам хочется позаниматься. Как-то я, по-моему, даже когда приезжал в отпуск на Сахалин, ходил на какие-то занятия йогой там со своей как-то заловка. Ну, в общем, с женой брата, и что-то мне, если честно, не очень понравилось качество преподавания. Нет, есть одна студия, куда я ходил, не было. Вот. Так, давайте с вами споем. Right, let's see, what's the next song? Let's do this one. It's a cool song. Another cool song that I should really sing more often. And this one, I found this particular version. I think it's almost like Christmassy version, I want to say, of this famous song from a thing called from a movie called Sound of Music. Oh, let's see. That is odd. Hold on. Yeah. But you'll understand why I think it's Christmassy.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doubles and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. So bad, so bad, so bad. These are my favorite things.
So yeah, oh, hold on. This song is a really cool song from The Sound of Music, and the original version, I think for me the original version goes too quickly. It's almost like a what do you call it? It's like a mouthful to pronounce all the words. Although if you look at the text, at the lyrics of the song, I was reading a book about, I think it was something like eloquency or writing, something to do about with writing and English language. And in that particular book, they were kind of looking at giving examples of what a good text looks like, and you know the different writing techniques and tricks that make us perceive the text as good, including the texts of the songs. And I think looking at the text for this particular song, you can see there's a few of these tricks that are being used. I want to say one of the tricks is using the same, what do you call it? Consonant to consonant? Yeah, I think that's right. Basically, like, you know, C's, D's, and not the A's and O's, etc. The consonants to start each word in the sentence. And there's a lot of this happening in this song. And I think that's also why I find it a little bit challenging to sing, especially at the kind of the faster tempo of the original version. But I was still looking to sing this song because this was also one of the songs that we agreed that I would sing at the gig last week. And then I found this version, which is kind of a little bit more mellow, and also I like that it's sort of like more playful, although the original one is playful as well, but this one is kind of more holiday-ish because of the kind of the jingle bells going on in the background. And I wouldn't be surprised if this particular version was like a Christmas release of this song. Right, so let's see. So Irina is asking to sing something from a Korean dorama, and I must say, actually, I don't know that, unfortunately, don't know that many Korean songs, especially from doramas, but this next one is from a dorama, which I haven't seen. I think it's a rather old drama, something to do with like Cain and Abel or whatever it's called, like the biblical brothers, and Cain, the one who killed Abel, his brother, and so it probably has to do. I mean, the drama itself probably has got a little bit of that in its storyline. Let me just drink some water. Oh, actually, hold on. I've got some tea as well. I fixed myself tea and then I was like rushing around and I didn't sing. I completely forgot about it. Hold on, let's see. And this one is called 미련한 사랑, which 사랑 is love. Those of you who don't know Korean, it's like 사랑 is love, and then 사랑합니다 is I love you, or 사랑해요, which is sort of like the same root of the verb, but then in Korean language you have the different levels of politeness. So 사랑합니다 is sort of like the most polite way of saying it. 사랑해요 is, I think, the second, like a notch down, and then 사랑해 is like the the way you would say to your sort of equal. Although, yeah, that sounds funny, right? Because you would think that you say I love you to a person sort of that is equal. So I think culturally, I wonder how it goes. Yeah, I suppose like if you love somebody but then you don't feel like comfortable, I guess, or if that person is older than you for whatever reason, or like if you haven't broken the ice, you'd probably say 사랑합니다, which would be, yeah, it's odd. I need to ask some people who know more about the language than I do.
마치 언제라도 나를 떠나버릴 수 있을 것처럼 넌 닮은 줄은 알지만 그럴 거라고 믿고 있지만 힘없이 웃고 있는 나는 널 떠나보낼 자신이 없어. 미련한 사랑이지 답답한 사랑이지 내일은 아직 멀리 있는데 알고 있지만 나는 두려워. 이랄 없이 다가올 그 어떤 우연이 너를 내가 모르는 아주 먼 곳으로 때 너를 데려갈까봐. 너는 내일을 나는 이별을 지금 함께 있다는 것마저 잊은 채 헤어날 수 없는 미련한 사랑에 조금씩 빠져가고 있어. 이렇게 돌아갈 수는 없을까 처음 우리가 만난 것으로 어느새 잃어버린 것들 아직 그대로 남아있는 곳 미련한 사랑이지 답답한 사랑이지 어제는 이미 멀리 있는데 알고 있지만 나는 두려워 느닷없이 다가올 그 어떤 우연이 너를 내가 모르는 아주 먼 곳으로 너를 데려갈까봐 너는 내일을 나는 이별을 지금 함께 있다는 것마저 잊은 채 헤어날 수 없는 미련한 사랑에 조금씩 이렇게 함께 있다는 것마저 잊은 채 헤어날 수 없는 미련한 사랑에 조금씩 빠져가고 있어 이렇게
Давайте еще на нашу любимую песню «Вернись в Порт Пусан». Так, хорошо. А вы были в Пусане, да? Okay, so Irina has asked me to sing another, yeah, I would say like relatively famous, I think definitely well-known song in Korea. It's an old song called "Come Back to the Port of Busan," and it's sort of the Korean version of the song talks about the brothers, separated brothers, and yeah, and it talks about returning back home. Много раз, ясно, понятно. And yeah, so Irina is saying that she would really love to go to Busan, but she can't because of the coronavirus. And I've asked her if she's been there, and she says quite a few times. Yeah, I think, how many times have I been? I think I've actually been only twice, maybe 3 times in Busan. But on one occasion I spent like 3 months there, which was good. I was like a really young spring chicken back then. And then the great thing about Korea, which can be annoying as well sometimes, is that if you're the younger ones, you need to respect the elders. If people are older than you age-wise, or if they are sort of like higher up the hierarchy, let's say in the office or anywhere else. Yeah, but then that's kind of the annoying bit, that you have to like bow and do stuff, and like you can't leave the office before your boss leaves the office, or you have to excuse yourself and like which I think maybe if you live there, it doesn't feel that strange. It maybe feels like second nature to just like, excuse yourself and ask for permission to leave the office before your boss leaves the office. But for somebody who's sort of like not used to that, I would say Oriental style, yeah, I think it's the same in Japan, in countries like Japan, I'm sure. I think in that regard, I think Japan and Korea are quite similar. I think China, I've not been to China, but I feel like China, because of the communism, they are much more sort of egalitarian in a way. Although I wouldn't be surprised if there is a bit of that happening as well. anyways, but then the kind of the opposite side of the coin is that the elders sort of have the responsibility to care for the younger ones. And when I was there, like I had this so-called older sisters and older brothers who would like really pamper me and then, you know, take care of me and do all sorts of things like that, which was nice. Right, and let's find this song, Busan. I wonder how the city has changed. I'm pretty sure it has changed over the years. I have a friend who lives there right now. Maybe I should pay them a visit at some point. Let's find this song. And I also learned that this song has sort of like a romantic Japanese version. I think the Japanese version is sort of like a love song, whereas the Korean version is has a slightly different meaning. Yeah, I think this is it. Type. Let's have a look. Maybe not.
피는 동백섬에 봄이 왔건만 현재 떠나 갈매기만 슬피우네 어륙터 돌아가는 연락선마다 목매어 불러봐도 대답 없는 내 현재여 돌아와요 부산 하네 그리운 내 현재여. 다고파 목이 메어 부리던 이 거리는 그리웠어 헤매던 긴긴 날의 꿈이었지 언제나 말이 없는 소물결 들던 부딪혀 슬퍼하며 가는 길을 막았었지 돌아왔다 부산 하네 그리운 내 현재여.
So this song is, I want to say, I may be mistaken here, but I want to say that this song, the version of the kind of the music style in Korea is called trot, and it's probably not just Korean style, but it's like something that got sort of borrowed by the Koreans. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was borrowed from the West, and actually, I think it's sort of like reliving, from what I saw on the internet, it might be like reliving its second renaissance, I want to say, because I just on YouTube I've seen a few videos where they, you know how there's like all sorts of reality singing competitions these days, and in Korea they have this trot related reality singing competition where people sing the trot style of music. Yeah, and I want to say it's kind of called trot style, whatever it may be called. Don't quote me on that. Пожалуйста, Ирина, рад, что понравилось. Я там подзабыл чуть-чуть слова, потому что уже давно не пел. And this song was, it probably still performed quite a lot in Sakhalin Island, where I come from, because it was like one of the more popular Korean songs after kind of the Soviet Union collapsed and the Korean families in Sakhalin Island had an opportunity to sort of reconnect with the families and the relatives in South Korea, because until that point, even though you had relatives, because Soviet Union was a communist country and South Korea was very much capitalistic and in the sphere of influence of the United States, there was no diplomatic relations, I want to even say. Yeah, I think there was no diplomatic relations. And then to make things worse, in like 1980 something, 1984 or 85, there was an unfortunate Korean air plane, like a Boeing something, that was the story goes, so there are like two versions. So the Soviet Union thought that it was like a spy, it was on a spy mission because it entered the Soviet airspace, and then the crew was not responding to the demands or to the questions by the jet pilots that that were raised on by the alarm to intercept this plane. And after it hadn't responded, after a few attempts to establish the communication, one of the jet fighters, actually the jet pilots, shot it down with the rockets, and there was like it was a full plane with civilians, so this plane got shot down, and then it was like I don't want to say it was an incident in like that might have led to war, but yeah, there was like a lot of grieving families in Korea, and it was like not the best point in Soviet and Korean relationships, so to speak. But anyways, until that point, there was like no relationships between the two countries. And then, even though like a lot of, in the southern part of the island at least, there was like there were Koreans, because before the Second World War, Korea was not separated into North and South. It was one single country that was sort of overrun by Japan in 1910. It became like a puppet state of Japanese empire. After the Second World War, it got separated, and like the northern part became communist, and the southern under the influence of China and Soviet Union, and then the southern part in the sphere of influence of the U.S. So yeah, on the island itself, so where I come from, there is a sizable diaspora of Koreans, and some of them come from the northern part, and some of them come from the southern part of Korea. So like my mother's side of the family is from the northern part of Korea, and my father's part is from the southern part of Korea. And so the people who had the relatives and who stemmed from the southern part of Korea couldn't, even if they wanted to go back to their historical motherland and birthplace, they couldn't do that because there was simply no connection between the two countries. And if you really insisted, I think there was an option for you to go to Northern Korea, and some families actually didn't end up going to, like, or being sent over, I guess, or going to North Korea. But yeah, that was sort of like the deal. And then all of a sudden, like come 90s, you were able to travel and see your relatives and families. And there are some sad stories because some folks, there were a lot of sort of young men who went from Korea to Sakhalin, to the southern part of the island, which was also like a Japanese prefecture at the time, before the end of the Second World War. And they went there to, earn better money and then maybe come back later home with, with more money. And a lot of these people were younger men, and there were like situations where they had, families, wives and children in Korea, which they left to, go and work in Sakhalin. And then after the Second World War, they couldn't get back to Korea because Korea was sort of like in the state of turmoil itself, and then the Korean War happened. So yeah, they're stuck, and then say 50 years later, they had this opportunity to to go visit Korea and then meet their families, and there were situations where people had already remarried and found, because life goes on, and they remarried in Sakhalin, or their spouses or partners married somebody else in Korea. So there was there was one man I remember who, because I actually watched this, there was like a, what do you call it, a tele breach, like a first in the history of the two countries. There was a TV breach between South Korea and Russia, and there was a man who had left his family, and then all of his like 3 sons, they were already in their 60s or whatever, and he was like he was 80 or 90, and they'd all grown up without the father by their side. So it was quite emotional to watch that. Or there was like a sister who left, and then in Korea she had like, she was very stoic on the camera, and like not very emotional. I think that's a part of Korean culture. Like you're not supposed to show your emotions. I think Koreans, Koreans are probably not very. I would say Koreans as a nation are not very. Is that true? Yeah. Koreans, like they don't like to show much emotions publicly, at least. Although like on the other hand, like when they get drunk, which happens a lot in Korea, I think that's like a different story. Anyways, and so this woman, she was talking to somebody from her family, must have been like her younger sister, who was born maybe after she'd gone, and like she didn't show any emotions, and then she asked, oh, like, where's my younger sister? It's sort of like the one that she may have left, that has been grown up enough. And then when she saw her younger sister, she broke into tears, which was, quite emotional to watch. So yeah, that's kind of the short story. If you want to read up about it, you can find some information online. Let's see. Let's do this song, why not? Since we're like talked about Korea and Korean music, follows. The funny story about this next song, is that at some point I got approached by a couple of girls when I was singing this song in Sydney, and both of them were like Middle Eastern looking. They were wearing silk scarves, etc. And then they came up to me asking what the song was. I think, they said, oh, we really like this song, after I sent it. And then a few weeks or a couple of weeks later, I saw them again, and then they specifically came up to me and asked me if I could sing this song. And I asked them, oh, like, how do you know this song? And it turned out that they didn't, but they just liked the song. So that's kind of the power of music that transcends the cultures and borders.
너는 감옥 같았어. 웃어도 우는 게 아니래. 초라해 보이고 우는 것 같아 보인대. 사랑해도 말 못했던 나, 내 색 조절할 수 없던 나, 잠이 드는 순간조차 그리웠었지. 살다가 너 힘들 때 나로 인한 슬픔으로 후련할 때까지 울다가 너 지칠 때 좀 힘들면 단 한 번만 기억하겠니. 살다가 웃어도 우는 게 아니래. 초라해 보이고 우는 것 같아 보인대. 사랑해도 말 못했던 나, 내 색 조절할 수 없던 나, 잠이 드는 순간조차 그리웠었지. 살다가 너 힘들 때 나로 인한 슬픔으로 후련할 때까지 울다가 너 지칠 때 좀 힘들면 단 한 번만 기억하겠니. 우리 마지못해 우는 거겠지. 우리 마지못해 살아가겠지. 내 곁에 있어도 나의 곁에 있어도 눈물 나니까. 살다가 너 힘들 때 나로 인한 슬픔으로 후련할 때까지 태워도 남았다며 남김없이 태워도 돼. 후련할 때까지 나 살다가
So this was a song called Saldaga, or the English translation is As We Live, and it's a song by a Korean band, which I don't think I've heard them. I just heard this song on Facebook in the feed of one of my American friends who shared it, and this song was performed by a black guy in Korea in one of the competitions, and I want to say he was probably, like one of those the guys from a mixed marriage, because there's some American presence in South Korea. There's a military base or few bases there, and some of the guys naturally get married there, and therefore you have some some mixed race children in Korea. Although Korea as a country itself is very, I want to say it's like very homogeneous. Maybe it's like similar to Japan. And although I think it's changing now over sort of like the years, it's become a little bit more open as a country, but still it's a very homogeneous country compared to like many other countries, like, you know, even if you take Australia or United Kingdom, they're more multicultural. And I'm talking, yeah, I suppose like even Australia and the UK, kind of the further out you go from the main cities, and it becomes a little bit more homogeneous. But in Korea, even like in places like Seoul, it's I want to say probably 90%, if not 95, 98% Korean. Yeah, like you don't see many like people of other race than Asian, you know, white, black, etc. Anyways, so this was a song that my friend shared, and I was like, I really like the song, and I had to look it up and learn it at some point. Очень красивая песня. Я рад, что понравилось. Да, мне кажется, там такая музыка просто, которая нравится многим людям, поэтому я не удивился, что... Как, с одной стороны, удивился, конечно, но не удивился в том плане, что девчонкам, они были, по-моему, откуда-то с Саудовской Аравии или что такое, что им понравилось. Right, let's see. I'm just thinking about what to sing next. Let's do this song. Yeah, I sort of kind of what is this? Started the stream with this music.
Crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, your heart breaker. Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. To drift the soft to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend. The same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend. My very friend. Moon river and
Пожалуйста, Ирина. Да, очень красивая песня. Я сегодня, когда думал ее спеть сегодня на выступлении, но что-то как-то, не знаю, спел я ее или не помню. Кажется, нет, в итоге не спел. Ну, когда ехал, добирался до выступления, думал, какие бы песни включить в выступление, ну, в том числе эту песню, про нее думал, и подумал, что интересно было бы, наверное, прочитать «Приключения Тома Сойера» в оригинале, на языке оригинала, на английском, и посмотреть, какие впечатления будут. Но потом подумал, наверное, что впечатления уже будут не такие будут, конечно, как в детстве, когда я читал эту книжку. Хотя интересно будет, наверное, прочитать все-таки, посмотреть. Если найду... наверняка есть в библиотеке, надо до библиотеки добраться. У меня есть привычка, я могу набрать кучу книг. По-моему, в прошлый раз я набрал в библиотеке, когда был последний раз, набрал кучу книг, и, по-моему, в итоге так ни до одной толком не добрался. Вот. Мне почему-то как-то так получается, что больше я читаю книги, когда именно покупаю книгу, и она у меня там лежит. Вот я сейчас недавно подобрал книгу. Здесь есть, в принципе, не только в Австралии, вообще в UK, в Австралии развиты всякие сети благотворительных магазинов, там Cancer Research, потом здесь немного другие там сети. Ну, в общем, это магазины, куда люди могут принести, сдать какие-то ненужные им вещи, или там, ну, это не обязательно даже новые вещи должны быть, могут быть там какие-то бэушные. Вот. И в таких магазинах есть, как правило, секция книжная, потом есть секция со всякими DVD и, ну, с такими вещами, потом, что еще у них продается? Всякая всячина, всякое барахло, в общем, от одежды до каких-то предметов небольших мебели или там декоративных предметов. Вот. И я иногда, бывает, когда по пути попадается один из таких магазинов, захожу туда и просто мне интересно, ну, смотрю какие-нибудь что-нибудь в книжной секции. Это такой интересный опыт порыться и попытаться найти что-нибудь, какую-нибудь книжку прочитать. Вот. Ну, не всегда, конечно, ну, на это надо время, как правило, требуется, потому что если сейчас такое количество разных книг, что, ну, можно какую-нибудь схватить книгу, и которая не факт, что понравится. Но вот недавно, ну я, по-моему, вам показывал, нашел в магазине сборник австралийских историй, который называется Australian Short Story. И решил для себя, раз я уже в Австралии, надо как бы просветить себя, прочитать там какие-то австралийские рассказы, попытаться окунуться и больше понять там стиль жизни и прочие вещи. Вот. И да, кстати, там среди этих рассказов попался очень интересный рассказ, в котором описываются всякие байки с острова. Сейчас я вам скажу, какой. Good Hope, что ли, или что такое? Island. Сейчас посмотрим. No, not. There was a Hope Island. No, that's not it. Hold on. Let me look it up. So I was just saying that sometimes I have this habit of going into a charity shop and then picking up a book there, and then just before the summer started here in Australia, I picked up a book that is called Short Australian or Long Stories, and then there was this particular interesting story which talks about a small island. I don't know, what was it called? Howie Island, I think it was Howie Island. There was something to start with island. No. Oh, maybe it is. Oh yeah, Lord Howie Island. Ooh. Is that the one? No. I'm just trying to find it now. Anyways, I'll look it up. So 𝐒𝐚𝐬 Island is an island in Western Australia, and this one is not there. Oh, maybe this is the one. I'm looking at the Google Maps. No, that's not it either. Anyways, I'll look it up, but it's an interesting. There was like a set of interesting stories, and I didn't even know that this island existed, and it talks about the fact that in this island they don't really like authority, and there were like times when New South Wales authorities tried to impose kind of the rule of law on that island, and they didn't quite succeed. So it's sort of like tickled my interest in this island. So it's something definitely that I'll check out. And that's kind of the wonderful thing about picking up that book, because like had I not picked up that book, I would never have had like the opportunity to find out more about that such island even exists. Yeah, and then the first story in that book actually talks about a boy growing up in Queensland, in the northern part of Australia, and it was also like an interesting introspective into what it's like to grow up, or what it was like to grow up there. Right, so let's see. Now I'm sort of like, you know, this feeling when you're trying to remember something and it doesn't come to you, it's like niggling me in the back of my head. I'll probably have to look it up in the book. Do I have it nearby? No. Okay, I'll look it up and let you know later, subsequently. Okay, let's see. Let me try this song. It's a song that I don't think I've ever properly sung it, but it's a song that I would like to start singing, it's, you know, one of those songs that I'm thinking, oh, I should be singing this song, or like, you know, it's a cool song, but for some reason I've never done it. And recently, for one of the gigs, I was asked to like learn some songs, and one of the songs which I may sing later is well, actually a couple of them were by Louis Armstrong, and I was just like, you know, this is a song that is so difficult to do justice for, because it's difficult to fill in Louis Armstrong's shoes. And then I started singing it, and I thought, actually, you know, it's not too bad. And I'm also including it into my busking repertoire, and people seem to be really enjoying it. So let's try this one out.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart, and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain.
This is such a recognizable melody, and I think like a refrain is so recognizable as well. It's almost like a New York, New York. And as I was looking for this song, I realized that I think it has been translated into quite a few languages as well, like in some languages that you wouldn't think associated with it, like I think Malaysian and or maybe Indonesian, things like languages like that. Знаю ли я Fly Me to the Moon? Да, я, кажется, ее, кстати, пел в начале стрима, поэтому пока не буду повторяться, давайте, может быть, в следующий раз специально для вас исполним. Let's do, yeah, so let's do this song. This is the song I was talking about earlier. The one by, oh, come on. The one by Louis Armstrong.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see trees of green, red roses too, I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They really say I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They really say I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Упс. Вы своим сайтом не занимаетесь. Виталий, про какой сайт речь? Про 𝐶𝐸 или какой? Если про это, то он у меня сейчас пока стоит, как это по-русски, как правильно сказать, Mothballed. В общем, у меня пока временно деактивирован, там как бы остался домен, остался и электронная почта прикреплена, и я вот сейчас подумаю, может быть, его стоит реактивировать, потому что вроде как вроде начинается, ну так, возобновляется деятельность, активность, поэтому в качестве как бы такой интернет-визитки, возможно, имеет смысл его реактивировать. Ну да. Да, он у меня остался, его просто надо реактивировать. Он сделан на платформе Squarespace, там все это достаточно быстро делается. Я, кстати, буквально на днях, может быть, 2 дня назад с ними связывался по поводу реактивации. В общем, они недавно, буквально вчера, по-моему, мне ответили. И там готовы даже предоставить скидку, чтобы я его реактивировал. Так что посмотрим, может быть, я его реактивирую, ну, через, не знаю, думаю еще пока по этому поводу. Потому что, ну, так, по большому счету, сайт, конечно, хорошо, просто у меня нет хорошего представления, насколько он эффективен в плане, ну, именно как, если рассматривать бизнес-сторону, насколько люди именно им пользуются. Потому что достаточно много людей ко мне просто приходят, допустим, стучиться либо напрямую там через Facebook, либо через Instagram. На этой неделе, в конце прошлой недели со мной вышла на связь девушка, которая заинтересована в мероприятии. В общем, мы пока с ней... Вышла она через Instagram в данном случае. Let's see. Let's do this song. So this next song is a Russian song called "The Time is Coming" or "The Time Arrives" or "Spring."
Вот идет по свету человек-чудак, сам себе тихонько улыбаясь. Видно в голове какой-нибудь пустяк, сердцем видно что-нибудь не так. Приходит время, с юга птицы прилетают, снеговые горы тают, и мне до сна приходит время. Люди головы теряют, и это время называется весна. Сколько сердца валидолом не лечи, все равно сплошные перебои. Сколько тут не жалуйся и не ворчи, не помогут лучшие врачи. Приходит время, с юга птицы прилетают, снеговые горы тают, и мне до сна приходит время. Люди головы теряют, и это время называется весна. Поезжай в Австралию без лишних слов, там сейчас как раз в разгаре осень. На полгода ты без всяких докторов снова будешь весел и здоров. Приходит время, с юга птицы прилетают, снеговые горы тают, и мне до сна приходит время. Люди головы теряют, и это время называется весна, 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 весна.
Сегодня подумал, что ну, не только сегодня, а, наверное, последние пару недель думал о том, что все-таки я предпочитаю более теплую погоду, холодной. То есть, как бы, не то, что я прям зиму не люблю, но если бы у меня был выбор, я бы большую часть времени проводил в лете или что-нибудь подобном. Потому что австралийскую зиму я не очень люблю. Здесь она, если на улице, то в принципе все солнечно, мало, ну, не так много дождей, как могло бы быть. Но внутри помещения здесь, конечно, стоит такой холод собачий, что это не самый лучший опыт. Сегодня я разговаривал еще во время мероприятия с девушкой, которая приехала сюда, получается, с Нью-Йорка, и а до этого она жила в Шотландии, училась в университете Сант-Андрес, кстати, один из таких старых университетов и один из таких самых, ну, наиболее престижных университетов. Наверное, может быть, даже один из таких топовых университетов в Шотландии, ну и вообще в Великобритании. Находится Сант-Андрес, это небольшой городок, который считается родиной гольфа. И такой очень уютный сам по себе, ну и самая главная достопримечательность, там, скорее всего, конечно же, университет. Вот. И там, по-моему, в университете Сант-Андрес учился один из принцев также. То ли Гарри, то ли Уильям. Сейчас не вспомню. Кажется, Вильям, да, по-моему. Они там даже, по-моему, со своей будущей женой познакомились. Она тоже заканчивала этот университет. Вот. К чему я это? Так вот, она училась в Сант-Андрес, и, соответственно, у нее было достаточно зимней одежды для житья в Шотландии, потому что там достаточно бывает холодно, ну не так, что прям холода, но тем не менее такая промозглая осень, так скажем, зимой. И приехав в Австралии она была до этого, я так понял по разговору, только летом, в летнее время, и поэтому она, когда сюда ехала из Америки, там, штат Нью-Йорк, в общем, она не стала брать с собой никакую зимнюю одежду. Сейчас, говорит, пожалела и даже списалась недавно со своими родителями, чтобы, может быть, те переправили ей посылкой всю зимнюю одежду, которую она оставила там. И сейчас такое смешное время в Сиднее, потому что часть людей, можно увидеть, ходят там в футболках, шортах и шлепках, а часть людей укутывается в тоже такую полуосеннюю, полузимнюю одежду. Потому что днем, допустим, может быть, когда солнце в самом зените, может быть достаточно тепло, А с утра и ближе к вечеру, когда солнца уже нет, становится так очень прохладно. Особенно если сильный ветер какой-нибудь поднимается, то промозглый такой, то становится не так уютно. Let's see what's. Let me try this song, as it's another cool song that I haven't sung in quite some time.
Like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending nor beginning, on an ever spinning reel. Like a snowball down a mountain, or a carnival balloon, like a carousel that's turning, running rings around the moon. Like a clock whose hands are sweeping past the minutes of its face, and the world is like an arrow whirling silently in space. Like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind. Like a tunnel that you follow to a tunnel of its own, down a hollow to a cave where the sun has never shone. Like a door that keeps revolving in a half-forgotten dream, or the ripples from a pebble someone tosses in a stream. Like a clock whose hands are sweeping past the minutes of its face, and the world is like an apple burning silently in space. Like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind. Why did summer go so quickly? Was it something that you said? Lovers walking along the shore leave their footprints in the sand. Is the sound of distant drumming just the fingers on your hand? Pictures hanging in a hallway and the fragments of a song. I've remembered names and faces, but to whom do they belong? When you knew that it was over in the autumn of goodbyes, for a moment you could not recall the color of his eyes. Like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning, on an ever spinning reel. As the images unwind, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
I think this version is a little bit high for my voice. I almost wish that was like maybe half a tone or a tone lower. But it's a cool, beautiful song that you may have recognized. The English version is called "The Windmills of My Mind." The French version, the translation of the title of the French version is "The Windmills of My Heart." Les moulins de mon cœur. Let's do this song. Another French song.
Des corps qui se confondent au sol de l'infini. Loin tu ressors du monde dans l'éternel soumis. À bord du lit et d'un guerre sous toi et moi. Toi et moi, libérés des mensonges, s'affrètent des tabous. Quand la nuit se prolonge entre l'air mou, nos songes fous inventent en nous. Entre chat et loup, dans nos rêves déserts, l'amour a succombé le silence. Et nous, ces enfants nus, vierges de nos hier, devenons toi et moi la veille de nos enfers. Porte-moi au-delà des angoisses à l'appel du désir, du corps de nos fantasmes confondus plaisir que Dieu créa pour toi et moi. J'étais sans espoir, tu as changé mon sort, offrant à ma vie une autre chance. Les mots ne sont que mots, les tiens vibraient si fort, qu'en parlant à ma peau, ils éveillaient mon cœur. Aime-moi, fais-moi l'amour encore, encore, parle-moi, pour que jusqu'aux aurores, aux sources de nos joies, mes jours se noient dans toi et moi, dans toi et moi, dans toi et moi, dans toi et moi.
So this was a French song, Toi et moi, or You and Me. It's a song that was originally performed by a duet of Charles Aznavour and Céline Dion. And I think Charles Aznavour may have sung a version with a Russian singer Polina Gagarina as well. I'm pretty sure I found a version of them singing together as well. Let's do this next song. It's it's another cool song that combines a couple of languages, and this one is a song dedicated to the love of music. At first, when I was, I remember, I went to like I think the first time I heard this song, I want to say, was when I think it was like my first time in Spain. I was it Barcelona? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Barcelona. Yeah, it was Barcelona, and then I remember I ended up going to like a karaoke bar, and there was a like a couple, a mother and son singing the song, and I really loved the song when I heard it. And at that point of time, I didn't really speak any Spanish. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't. And then, but I did look up the song, and then the title of the song is Vivo por ella in Spanish, and I thought when I saw this, like they translated the title, I thought that this song is, you know, like a love song dedicated, like I live for her in a way, and yeah, and until later, like a few years later, when I actually started after I learned some Spanish and French, I realized that it's actually a song dedicated to the love of music, and ella, or like her or she in this case, is music rather than like, you know, like a woman or a lady. Hi, Jam Sessions Lives. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and thank you for the comment. Thank you.
Vivo per lei da quando sai, la prima volta l'ho incontrata. Non mi ricordo come, ma mi è entrato dentro e c'è stata. Vivo per lei perché mi fa vibrare forte l'anima. Vivo per lei et non un penso, je vis pour elle depuis toujours. Qu'elle me déchire ou qu'elle soit tendre, elle nous dessine après l'amour un arc-en-ciel dans notre chambre. Elle est musique un certain jour, quand notre cœur se fait trop lourd. Elle est la seule à pouvoir nous porter secours. È una musa che ci invita, elle vivra toujours en moi. Attraverso un pianoforte, la morte lontana, io vivo per lei. J'ai vu pour elle jour après jour, quand ses accords en moi se fondent. C'est ma plus belle histoire d'amour, un pugno che non fa mai male. Vivo per lei, lo so mi fa girare di città in città, soffrire un po' ma almeno io vivo. Vivo per lei dentro gli occhi, vivo per lei nel vortice, attraverso la mia voce si espande, amore produce. Vivo per lei nell'altro e quanti altri incontrerò, che come me hanno scritto in viso, io vivo per lei, io vivo per lei, sopra un palco contro un muro, anche in un domani duro. Ogni giorno una conquista, la protagonista sarà sempre lei. Vivo per lei perché oramai io non ho un'altra via d'uscita, perché l'amore musica lo sai, davvero non l'ho mai tradita. Et les musiques elle a des ailes, elle m'a donné la clove du ciel qui m'ouvre enfin les portes du soleil. J'existais par elle, j'existais pour elle. Elle est toi et moi, io vivo per lei, io vivo per lei.
Yeah, so this is a really cool song that I fell in love with back then, and I think it's a beautiful song when it comes to the music and then the lyrics. So basically, it has all the ingredients of a great song, so to speak. Right, let's see. I've got time for maybe 3-4 more songs. So I'm just thinking. What else could we sing? Let's do this song. This is a beautiful song that I remember I learned like a year ago. So, and I can't remember why. I think I ended up watching. I was watching like some sort of a documentary about Barbara Streisand, or I ended up reading about her, and I think she has like a really interesting life and career, and it's, to me, she's definitely one of those kind of artists that are artists with the capital A in a way, and she's one of the few artists that have sustained herself in music over like many decades and generations, and definitely like a role model, at least to me. Similar to like Charles Aznavour, like she's in that category, or maybe like Frank Sinatra is another one. Yeah. I think Madonna is probably the more recent one when it comes to reinventing herself.
Light the corners of my mind, misty watercolored memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another, all the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple that all has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's a laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were, the way we were.
So somehow I remember this singing this song. In Sydney there was we had the tram works for quite some time, and it was one of those projects that overran the time and the budget and all that jazz. It's actually very similar to the tram in some ways to the tram project in Edinburgh. So in Edinburgh they tried to put in a tram, and they somewhat succeeded because I think there is a tram that now runs from, at least you can catch it from the Edinburgh airport to the sort of city center. Because I remember when my parents visited me in the UK, and I took them to Scotland, because in my mind Edinburgh is like this fairy tale town, which is in some ways more beautiful than London. In many ways it's got this, I don't know how to describe it. It's got a very sort of romantic medieval feeling to it. Yeah, and especially the old town. I think actually it's called the New Town nowadays. No, I want to say the Old Town and the Royal Mile. And yeah, and the tram there overrun. It was like supposed to say cost £1 billion, and then ended up costing double the amount. And there were lots of complications with laying the rails for the tram, because lots of they had to be careful doing it. And similar story in Sydney, I think they ran into all sorts of unexpected issues when laying the tram lines. But anyway, so the tram lines took longer than expected, but the side benefit of it was that bang in the middle of the city, right next to this iconic shopping building called Queen Victoria Building, which is sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's this Victorian, I want to say Victorian era building that at some point actually was gonna be demolished, but then it was saved because people campaigned for it to be saved, and now it has all those upscale shops and boutiques in there, and it's not far, right next to the town hall, so right in the middle of the city. So next to it there was the tram lines go on the street right parallel to this building. And because they were still building these tram lines, all the traffic, and this used to be like that street used to be a street that was open for cars, and because of the trams, it's now closed for the car traffic for the most part, and yeah, as a side benefit of that closure, there was like right in the middle of the city there was this spot where you could perform. For, I want to say, at least half a year, that spot was available, or maybe like 3 months at a minimum. And yeah, and I remember like many of us, like the guys who do street performance and busking, would use that spot alongside the kind of one of the main spots in Pitt Street Mall. And the beauty of that spot is that it's right next to this Queen Victoria building. which is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And then in nighttime, say on a Friday or on a Thursday night, when the sun would go down and it will like turn all black, and the city lights would turn on, it looked absolutely magnificent, and I really enjoyed like sitting there well into the night. Sometimes I would just like be sitting there for like at least a couple of hours, if not like 3 hours, if there was nobody behind me. And I hope the people in the hotel nearby didn't mind. I think it was all right. I think there was only one occasion when on one day, I think it was a weekday, one angry guy came out of the office right across, and he said, oh, like, we can't have a meeting because you're too loud, blah blah blah. But that's more of an exception rather than the rule. Anyways, hold on, what time is it? Let's do one last song and then I'll be finishing tonight's stream. I'm just thinking what song we could sing to finish the things off. Okay, this one is going to be like a somewhat energetic song, and this is one of the songs that I learned also for a gig recently, and I surprisingly really like this song, but although it has got a lot of, to my surprise, I knew about this song because it's a very traditional Russian folk song and melody, and but I've never really sort of listened carefully to the lyrics, and as often happens, at least with me, you know, when I start learning the songs, I suddenly think, oh wow, you know, like you start looking into the lyrics with more attention to detail. And this song, the English version or title of the song is Peddlers, and it talks about, the story goes, there's like a peddler, a guy comes to the village, and then he's saying, I've got like a full basket full of goodies, etc. Why don't you come out, my beautiful girl? I'll be waiting for you outside in the evening, and I'll show you all the goodies. So it's got like a lot of like sexual innuendos, so to speak, in the meaning of the lyrics, which was probably something that you couldn't do openly back in the era of prudence, and it had to be sort of masked with other words. So it's a cool... Hi, Зина, здравствуйте. Я, кстати, в прошлый... Мне Миюки сообщила, что вы были на прошлом стриме. У меня... я не запустил программку, через которую я вижу сообщения в чате, и, как оказалось, без запущенной этой программки я не видел именно ваши сообщения, ну, вернее, сообщения людей, которые слушали через Facebook и так далее. Вот, и Миюки постаралась, сделала доброе дело, прислала мне, спросила, уточнила, вижу ли я ваши сообщения. Я уже после этого только осознал, что ваши сообщения я не увидел. Не знаю, вы там остались или нет на трансляции, но вы, по-моему, просили спеть «Синюю вечность», и я ее спел в течение стрима. Надеюсь, у вас хорошая неделя проходит. Заканчиваю, да, сейчас стрим. Закончим на вот этой русской народной песне.
Там до ночи погожу. А завижу черноокую, все товары разложу. А завижу черноокую, все товары разложу. Цены сам платил немалые, не торгуйся, не скупись. Подставляй-ка губы алые, ближе к милому садись. Подставляй-ка губы алые, ближе к милому садись. Вот и пала ночь туманная, ждет удалый молодец. Чу идет, пришла желанная, продает товар купец. Катя бережно торгуется, все боится передать. Парень с девицей целуется, просит цену набавлять. Парень с девицей целуется, просит цену набавлять. Знает только ночь глубокая, как поладили они. Распрямись ты, рожь высокая, тайну свято сохрани. Распрямись ты, рожь высокая, тайну свято сохрани.
Thank you for listening, guys. Ooh, should switch off the reverb. Hold on, I wanted to share something actually with you. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody sent me, let me see if I can find it. Somebody sent me a link to, or I found a link online to this really cool band. And I remember seeing them on YouTube at some point, and they've got a really, it's all male choir, and they sing a cappella, and they sing a lot of Russian, like traditional Russian music, and they sound absolutely great together. So let me find the link, and I'll try to paste it into the chat so that you guys can peruse it at your leisure. It's really something. They are beautiful singers, and let me see how do I do this. Okay, stream manager? No. Okay, give me a second, guys. I should be able to. Oh, here it comes. Okay, let's see. I might need to do it twice. You can listen to this song in particular, and then if you you can also check out all the other songs that they sing. Пришлю вам ссылку на замечательный хор, который, я думаю, что многие, может быть, из вас уже видели. Мужской акапелла хор, которые замечательно поют русскую народную музыку. Where is the chat? Oh, here it comes. Okay. Here it comes. Надеюсь, что вам понравится эта песня. Очень замечательная песня и исполнение. Такое, которое, мне кажется, не оставит никого равнодушным. It was great seeing you guys, and I'll see you Sunday. I'm just gonna sign off, and I need to do some practice today because I haven't done much today, actually, when it comes to instrument practice. So I'm planning to try busking with the guitar. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I'll probably record some videos, and I'll let you know how it goes. Maybe not this week, but sometime early next week. Наталья счастлива. Вам надо познакомиться с моей дочерью, она живет в Сиднее. А мы, по-моему, может быть, даже как-то, не знаю, скорее всего, я вас встречал, когда вы здесь были, нет? Потому что вы упоминали, что, по крайней мере, вы видели меня выступающим. Всем хорошей недели, and see you Sunday. Have a great week, guys, and I'll see you on Sunday. I might do like an ad hoc stream tomorrow, or maybe we'll see. I'm not promising anything. I think it's, if I do something, let it be a surprise. And tomorrow, if the time allows, I might need to do some recordings for my saxophone teacher. And then as I do that, or after or before I do that, I might do like a stream from outdoors. But yeah, we'll see. I really haven't thought much about it, but if I do, you'll see it on Twitch, probably. See you. Все понял. Ирина живет на Сахалине, она, по-моему, не в Сиднее, поэтому виртуально можно познакомиться, но навряд ли лицом к лицу. Okay, see you guys, and I'll see you Sunday. До встречи в воскресенье. В воскресенье стрим начинается в 7 вечера по Сиднею. По вашему времени, по-моему, времени должно было измениться. Пока!